Hey everybody, Foley here for the weekly news recap, the 24th to 30th of July, 2023. Only a little bit late this time. Did manage to get out of bed. Just a little bit. Thinking about it. I was thinking about staying in bed. Anyway, let's get into it. So today, we're going to be taking a look at some of this news. So for our updates section this week, Final Fantasy XIV has had a big fan fest over in Las Vegas. It is ongoing. As part of some of the news that came out, there is another expansion on the way, the latest one called Dawn Trail. It'll be out summer of next year. It is being billed as a kind of summer vacation for your character. They have gone through quite a lot in the last 5, I think, expansions at this point. A lot of shit has happened, so it's probably more of the more lighthearted kind of expansion as opposed to the other ones that were sort of world-ending things. That's all I want to know about it because I'm still pretty early in the story and I would rather not be spoiled on a bunch of other things. Some other news that came out from the FanFest is Final Fantasy XIV will be on Xbox starting, I think, with that expansion or maybe later in the year. Final Fantasy XIV will be next year on Xbox consoles. As well as you may have heard from anyone else who has extolled the virtues of Final Fantasy XIV, the free trial is actually being expanded. So previously, the free trial would have encompassed the base game, A Realm Reborn, and the first expansion, Heavensward. Now, when Dawn Trail is released, the free trial will include Stormblood, which is the second expansion. So maybe it's the case that every time there's a new expansion, there will also be a new. The free trial will be increased. I cannot avail of the free trial anymore because I bought the game, but I have not actually finished Heavensward, so I could have still been playing for free. But there we are. Anyway, moving on. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else about it because, as I said, I don't want to be spoiled. So this is Ratatan. This is a game we had a look at, I think, last week, where it was briefly teased. There's now some actual gameplay just ahead of it going live on Kickstarter. So it'll be live on Kickstarter Monday. So it might already be there if you're watching this in the future. It might even be out already if you're watching it way in the future. So Ratatan is a spiritual successor to Patapon. It is by the same developers, though they no longer own the IP because Patapon was a Sony exclusive. Sony still own it and they're doing nothing with it. So these developers went, you know what, let's just make our own one. So Ratatan is the same kind of idea. It's a rhythm action army management kind of thing. You have all these different army units. They all respond to different beats and words. And you use the face buttons to sort of just engage them in combat. And as you do it to the beat of the drum. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I get that, but it makes more sense when you're actually playing it. It's a fun game. Patapon, I believe Patapon 1 and 2 got HD remasters for console. It was previously a handheld only. It was on the PSP. Anyway, Ratatan Kickstarter tomorrow. I will be backing it. Feel free to do so as well if you like, but that's what I'll be doing. Anyway, moving on. Not that button. This button. Armored Core Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon got a gameplay preview during the week. This is actually a different preview to what was shown off in press about a month ago. It was a behind the doors preview. This one is a publicly available one, although still not playable. Anyway, it's showing off a fair chunk of gameplay and a fair chunk of just tone and setting for the game. I'm going to skip ahead to actual gameplay. If my internet will, this is all again tone setting. I'll get into the actual combat. But let's just skip to halfway through the video. That doesn't help. That was a briefing. Here. That was too back here. Okay, anyway, it's showing off a couple of different missions. This is one where you're having to take on this massive walking tank looking thing. You have to take down one of its legs so you can actually get up on top of the installation itself and then go about systematically destroying its AA equipment and that kind of thing. It's Armored Core. It's very much Armored Core. Everyone saying it's a Souls game is like, what are you talking about? This is Armored Core through and through. But the closest thing you'll get to Soulsy type gameplay is maybe the boss fights, and even then, not really. Maybe the bigger bosses, yes, but regular grunt combat. This is Armored Core as much as it could possibly be. So I don't know. I think the people who are thinking, yeah, it's Soulsy, are like, have you played an Armored Core game ever? Or even seen it be played? So I'm gonna skip ahead to a boss fight. A boss. There's a boss. Yeah, so the boss fights are a bit more intense. The bosses themselves obviously have better equipment and can, take the fight to you a bit better than everybody else. Most of the enemies you'll be fighting are basic grunts, not particularly difficult to deal with on their own. If that's more of a case of there's just too many of them, you might get smashed out of it by missiles or whatever. But a single grunt is not going to cause you an issue, whereas a single boss probably will. It's going to be quite a bit of difficulty there. And anyway, the rest of the video does show off some other boss encounters, and then earlier in the video has a little bit more of traversal and how that's going to work. Stuff like that. Anyway, moving on. It was not the only game to get a gameplay preview. Lords of the Fallen also similarly has been given a gameplay preview. Again, I think this is a couple of different ones it's had now. This is more showing off how co-op will work. So the first part of it is mostly just showing off this new area. I say new. The game isn't out yet, so who knows? They're all going to be new, I guess, when it comes out. It's pretty grim. There's a bit of a boss fight with this character whose name I forget. They have more than a little bit of Melania to them, but whatever. Skipping ahead, they have you telling you how you can move from one world to the next. So the regular overworld, and then Umbra, the sort of undead world. And how that works, you need effectively bonfires are how you'll swap between the different areas. You can also look through into the undead world, at least. I'm not sure if you can look through to the living world from the land of the undead. I don't know. But you can do it one way, at least, and that will tell you that, hey, there's actually a bridge there in the other world, so why don't you hang out there? It's very Soul Reaver. It's very, very Soul Reaver, and I'm very much here for it because, again, Crystal Dynamics have the IP for Soul Reaver, and they've done fucking nothing with it. So if anyone else wants to use that mechanic, knock yourselves out. Showing off some different enemy types here. This one can't be hurt from the front. You hit them in the bum, or wait for their mask thing to open up and then hit them there instead. That kind of thing. Co-op. That's showing off more magic. How the different magic things work. I haven't me telling you that this trailer is all about co-op. It's actually only in the very end of the trailer. It's actually co-op. All right, there's your buddy. This guy happens to do radiant magic, so healing and buffs and that kind of thing. Yeah, it seems to be fairly seamless for co-op. There doesn't look like there's any weird Soulsy mechanics for it. It's just, hey, do you want to join the game? Cool, great. One interesting thing, and that's not particularly clear, is what happens if your partner dies. So do they go into Umbra, which is how the game would work. So you get 2 lives in Lords of the Fallen. It's a bit like Sekiro. The first time you die, you end up in the Land of the Dead, and if you die there, you're gone for good, and you have to go back to the last checkpoint. It's not clear what happens if your co-op partner dies. They now hang out in the Land of the Dead while you're in the Land of the Living. I kind of feel like probably not. But it would be interesting to see what exactly happens. It does show that in if the host willingly kills himself, it's kind of a weird way to put it. If you can willingly go into the Land of the Dead, and in which case it will drag your co-op partner with you. It's just a case of the other way around. Let's do the same thing. And if it's not a willing death, if you're just dead in combat, does your co-op partner come with you in the Land of the Dead? I'd say they do, which probably means your co-op partner only has 1 life. So if they die, they probably just go back. They probably have to be re-summoned, would be my guess. Unless the game has a revival mechanic, but that didn't come up in this video. Yeah, nobody died. Nobody died on purpose, at least. Or sorry, no one was killed in combat, rather. Anyway, there's more of that video. It's fairly lengthy. You can check that out yourselves. Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood has a release date. It is coming out mid-September, I think. The Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood is from, as you can see, the creators of the Red Strings Club. I believe they also did Gods Will Be Watching. Very heavy story games, and very, very good story games. This one, Fortuna, a witch who's being kind of pulled from a lot of different sides from a bunch of other witches, and having to make decisions about the sisterhood and what have you. Yes, it is very. At least the Red Strings Club is very well written. I don't imagine this will be any different. It's not giving too much away in this little gameplay snippets and trailer, but all it did really give away is that there is a release date. Oh, it's August, mid of August this year, so not too far away. If you're interested in that kind of thing. Okay, Sea of Stars will be the first game, as far as anyone is aware, to be launched simultaneously on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass. So previously it had been slated to come out on Game Pass, and it wasn't clear what was going to be happening on PlayStation Plus end, and as it turns out, PlayStation Plus it will also be getting Sea of Stars Day 1. So August 29th, the game will be released, and if you are either a subscriber to PlayStation Plus Extra and up, hey Melwan, how you getting on? So if you're on PlayStation Plus Extra or upwards, or Game Pass for console, you'll be able to play Sea of Stars on August 29th for no additional cost. I guess Nintendo getting shafted because they are, as usual, way behind the curve for internet services. And at the same time, I don't think Nintendo would really benefit from a subscription service. I know its customers would, but I don't think the company would all that much. So I don't see us seeing a Switch catalog type thing happening anytime soon. Maybe, but I don't really see it happening. If anything, we're more likely to see. Yeah, I would do, Melvin. I would certainly prefer a Switch Plus or whatever, or Switch Pass instead of paying €60 for every single Nintendo first party game that comes out, no matter when it came out. This game's 15 years old. Yeah, €60, please. Fuck you, Nintendo. Right, anyway, yeah, Sea of Stars will be on PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass, and if you want it on Nintendo, fuck you, pay up, yes, and presumably PC as well. All right. Life by You has been delayed. So Life by You is this sort of, as they're billing it, a real language Sims, effectively. So it's no Simlish. Everyone will spend, or everyone will speak actual English words. €160 spent last month for only 3 games. Yeah, it's gross. It feels awful. It feels really bad. I'm fucking paying almost like rent amounts of money to Nintendo to play for their games. So the early access release for Life by You has been delayed. It was slated to come out September of this year and has now been pushed into March of next year. Reasons giving is that they want to improve areas like visuals and UI. I would argue that it's an early access thing. That's kind of the whole point of early access, but okay. Fine-tuning mod tools that will be available for all players to explore and create. Again, that's sort of the purpose of early access, but okay, whatever. They're kind of really using early access as more of a soft launch rather than its actual purpose, which is to get community feedback on the game before it goes fully out into the market. But whatever. The mod tools are actually kind of interesting. That's sort of what I am mostly interested in. I have been thinking of getting back into doing mods. I only sort of very small dabbling in it in the past, and would like to go back into it. And Life by You and Baldur's Gate 3 all seem like, yeah, I'd love to do mods for those games, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's been delayed. Epic Games for this week. So there's 2 of them this week. Homeworld Remastered Collection is number 1. Experience the epic space strategy games that redefine the RTS genre. Citation needed. Control your fleet and build an armada across more than 30 single-player missions. Choose unit types, fleet formations, and flight tactics for each strategic situation. So it's an RTS in space. So, Command & Conquer, StarCraft, Warcraft, but space. Spacecraft. Yes, or StarCraft. Probably make that much sense. And the second game is Severed Steel. Excuse me. Severed Steel, which we did play on the channel last year at some point. Severed Steel is a first-person, pretty stylish shooter where you have parkour and flips and slides and that kind of thing. And it's one of the few first-person games you can actually do a forward roll in or a backflip in, and the game doesn't fucking freak out. You can actually go like full 360, which is pretty cool. Anyway, stylish single-player FPS featuring a fluid stunt system, destructible voxel environments, loads of bullet time, a unique one-armed protagonist, and a dark electronic soundtrack. They're not exactly one-armed. They do have two arms. They just only have one hand. No. It's just... technicality, sure, but still. They only have one hand. That's mostly so you don't get to reload. That's pretty much the only excuse there. Anyway... that's free up until Thursday. Moving on. It is going to be the start of a new month, which means new monthly games. So first up, Games with Gold. This will actually be the very last Games with Gold Xbox, as it is now going away, and it's going to be replaced with Game Pass Core. So the very last Games with Gold will be Blue Fire and Inertial Drift. I have never heard of either of these games. Blue Fire. Evil forces have taken over the world of Penumbra. They need a warrior of light and darkness. Wow. Greedy. Embark on a journey to explore temples filled with 3D platforming challenges, battle wild enemies, and go on side quests. What about main quests? Master the art of movement as you face increasingly challenging void puzzles and unlock the secrets that will save the day. Sounds a bit Prince of Persia-y, with all this kind of focus on platforming and movement and stuff. It might be interesting. Hey, Banana, how you getting on? Yeah, that might be interesting. Inertial Drift. Can you master the perfect drift? Nope. That's anytime there's a headline with a question in it, the answer is no. That's always those are the rules. Drive through a 90s retro future in this arcade racing game that leverages a unique handling model and twin-stick drift mechanics. What kind of weird car do you have? Choose from 16 unique cars across 20 wild tracks to tear through the neon streets. Rev up your skills in single-player story move. It says move. And then prove you're the best in multiplayer. It says move. Story move. Anyway. Okay, I mean, they're free if you're, subscribed to Xbox Live Gold, and you will eventually be shunted over to Xbox Game Pass Core, probably starting next month. Anyway. Similarly, PlayStation Plus Essential will also be getting some new games, so PGA Tour 2023, golf. Okay, moving on. Dreams is the gaming creation tool thing from Media Molecule. It is extremely versatile. There's a lot of different things you can make from it. There's a lot of different things have been made from it. And it will be free starting Tuesday of this week, just in time for Sony to stop supporting it. Not great. Not great timing there. Or maybe the timing is deliberate, who knows. So, news like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was found that Sony have decided that Media Molecule should be doing something else and not spending their time on Dreams. Even though Dreams was billed as this decade-long project, to be working with the game community, to be helping make games and, publish them and so on. They're like, nah, no, we need you to make yet another live service shooter thing instead. Thanks. Moving on. I have Dreams. I don't have enough patience to make anything. Yeah, it's kind of the same. I was kind of the same with Little Big Planet. I made a couple of things, like a catapult that flung you directly into the floor. That was my favorite one. This is the joke catapult. That was way too strong and just smashed you straight into the ground. It was funny. Nobody wanted to use it for obvious reasons. Anyway, but some of the stuff they've made is really, really good. And a lot of it is IP infringing, which is possibly why Sony wanted to get out of it, because they're like, oh, there's a lot of things that are going to cause us a lot of legal problems if they ever get out. Anyway, but yeah, Media Molecule won't really be supporting it. And as a sort of... this is being billed as like a celebration of it joining PlayStation Plus, but really this is more of a last hurrah for Media Molecule. They have made Tren, which is this train puzzle game. So Media Molecule did make a couple of not standalone, but like fully playable interactive things for Dreams. There is like a properly curated level system. Tren is made with the same tools, although I think it's actually a standalone thing. No, never mind. You play it in Dreams. Yeah, I didn't think they had that made yet. There had been talk for Dreams to have this kind of publishing exporting model where you could actually export whatever games you made in Dreams and have them be playable on PC, I guess, but that never transpired, obviously, because the 10 years that they were supposed to be developing the game has been cut short to like 2. Anyway, the third game, Death's Door, which we did play on the channel, I've been meaning to go back to, because I've been wanting to do a challenge run of it. There's a joke weapon, the Umbrella, which does half damage to all enemies, and I'm kind of thinking, I kind of want to see if I can get through the game and just do that. Yeah, but anyway, Death's Door is kind of like a Legend of Zelda type thing. Experience a somber yet darkly comedic tale, utilizing melee weapons, arrows, and magic to overcome a fantastic array of beasts and demigods in this isometric action adventure. It's Legend of Zelda. Death's Door has a bit... Yeah, it kind of definitely pays homage to the original Zelda games. The combat is a little bit more involved. The story is kind of interesting in that you are trying to track down these souls, as you are the Grim Reaper, but also a crow. Don't ask questions. And at the same time, your soul, I believe, is... How does it work? You're trying to track down a soul, and as long as that soul is out in the world and not captured, you are aging rapidly. The idea is you need to capture it quickly before you die, and it ends up somehow traveling through a Death's Door to somewhere you can't go, and you need to figure out a way to open Death's Door, and maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe don't do that. Anyway, they'll be on PlayStation Plus probably Tuesday. Those are some of the games you can play eventually, but what if you want to play something right now? Well, you can play Arcadian Atlas, which is a spiritual successor inspired by kind of thing from Final Fantasy Tactics. So it's a tactics RPG, really nice pixel art. It's been worked on for quite a while, I think since 2017. I think it was a Kickstarter title. It's been getting mixed reviews. Some people are really liking it. They really like, just having a tactics RPG to play, and enjoying that amount of it. And other people are like, yeah, but it's really short. So it is a bit short. It's only like 13, 14 hours or something like that, which is very short for a tactics game. But that's not really a problem. The games don't have to be 400 hours long, Surely we've learned our lesson from Assassin's Creed at this point. Anyway, that is out on PC right now, if you wanted to play it. And also now out on PC is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Previously PlayStation exclusive, it now joins the collection of games that were previously PlayStation Studios exclusive games and are now on PC. Again, Nix is doing most of the porting work. What was kind of up in the air about this is that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart very much used Sony's SSD for the PS5 to make it kind of work and seamless, so you can jump between different worlds. And the question was, is that really going to work on PC when not everybody has access to an SSD and what have you? And turns out, yeah, it does. There's a small hit to performance, but if you're using a HDD, it's fine. It'll work fine. Digital Foundry put in the work and they're like, yeah, works. Just don't try to use like PS4 specs or it won't actually work. So you're going to need a beefy enough PC to make it work. Or an SSD. That'll work too. Anyway, moving on. However, it is now time to talk about the worst parts of video games. The video game industry. So, CD Projekt Red announces third round of layoffs in 3 months. They are really just fucking firing everybody. So, CD Projekt Red announced yet another round of layoffs. This time it's 9% of the studio's entire headcount. Now, probably would have been less if they had kept all the other people that they'd fired. But now it's 9%. 100 people, that's a lot. This is because we are refining the shape of the company and we need to trim the fat and what have you, but definitely not from the upper level suite. No, managers are staying put, definitely. No, nobody else is going, just the low level employees, of course. This will help the studio make quality games on time and without crunch. I see. You're going to make better quality games with fewer people, on time with fewer people, and without crunch with fewer people. How's that working? I don't know. Based on current and expected project needs, we already know. We don't have other opportunities for the employees affected in the next year. I think you do. I think you probably do, because if you want these things delivered on time without crunch, you will need more people. But okay. Right, dickheads. This is the third set of layoffs that CD Projekt Red has announced in the past 3 months. Yeah, they are hemorrhaging staff. This is more to do with them announcing like 8 games and not actually announcing how they're going to make any of those games. And they think, I know, we'll fire a bunch of people and then hire a bunch of people right out of college for much, much cheaper. Just you wait. Just you wait. That's what'll happen. Moving on. Diablo 4 is fixing a bad menu after fans kept accidentally buying the Battle Pass. Yeah, I'll bet Activision were all like, oh no, you accidentally bought the Battle Pass. How terrible. We'll fix that bug. It's definitely a bug and not something we intended to happen. Definitely not. So the annoyance here is that a Battle Pass layout that has tricked some players into accidentally buying the premium version. One player accused the company of employing a dark pattern. One player? I think every player has accused them. How do people accidentally buy a Battle Pass? You're about to find out, Banana. Blizzard placed the Activate Premium Battle Pass button right next to the button you have to constantly press to check your season journey. So the season thing for Diablo is where you have to... It's like this 3-monthly thing where there's a bunch of like quests and progress you need to make to like unlock different things for the season. And you're always jumping into that menu to sort of check your progress on it, right? Makes sense. The Activate Premium Battle Pass is like literally the button right beside it. And rather annoyingly, it defaults to that button. It defaults to the Activate Battle Pass button. Doesn't default to the Season Journey button, the one everyone's going to be using constantly. No, I'm going to default to the other one that's going to be used literally once, if ever. Anyway, the location of the Activate Premium Battle Pass button makes it extremely easy to tap it unintentionally, and even better, there's no pop-up giving players a chance to back out of the redemption. How did they mess that up? Yes, messed it up. Nah, they definitely didn't do it on purpose to get more money out of people. There's no pop-up giving players a chance to back out of the redemption, so yeah, once you press the button, thanks, here's your money. The community manager came back to sort of gloss over something. Anyway, we have a temp fix in the works that will at least ensure the cursor isn't defaulted there and will instead be defaulted on Season Journey. Come on, guys, come on. That's not a bug. You did that on purpose. Come on. Stop with this shit. Anyway, I think that's the end of that story. But yeah, so some annoyance here is that, yes, one, you're going to be out of money, obviously. But the other thing is, if you bought like a deluxe edition or a, super mega awesome edition of Diablo 4 or whatever, or just here's some money for some random shit edition, you get like a free battle pass or something, or a free redemption, I think, for it. And I think the idea was that like Diablo developers, let's try to give them some benefit of the doubt. I really shouldn't, because it's Activision. The idea is that, why wouldn't you use your free redemption on the first, season battle pass? Why wouldn't you? Why would you be waiting? I mean, you love Diablo 4, right? Well, don't you want to keep playing it? Don't you guys have phones, etc.? But yeah, this is blatantly dark patterns, shitty mobile phone shenanigans making their way into Diablo 4. Anyway. That is allegedly being fixed. They've been found out, more like. Alright, Ubisoft is suspending inactive accounts and potentially preventing people from playing the games that they have bought. So the original story is, Ubisoft are temporarily suspending accounts it deems to be inactive, preventing players from accessing their game libraries. Suspended accounts will be deleted in 30 days unless the user clicks the cancel account closure link. That's not good. How could they be suspending us? They just delete it from the database. You try to log in, they'll go, no such account exists. Lol. Although that's how they get rid of it entirely. If they were to suspend it, it'd be like it's mostly just to put it in the queue for deletion, and then it's up to you to come in and go, no, 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 take that out. Thanks. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. So Ubisoft came back to say, we certainly do not want you to lose access to your games or account, so if you have any difficulties logging in, please create a support case with it. We don't want you to lose access to your games or account, and that's why we've set it up to be deleted. Okay. As part of Ubisoft's terms and conditions, they do reserve the right to suspend or end services at any time. Like if you don't play the Ubisoft games, yeah, pretty much. The idea is that you haven't logged in the last whatever their policy is. It's not clear what the policy is exactly. So an update is that no, it's not as bad as it sounds. Accounts including purchased PC games are not eligible for deletion. So if there are games associated with your account, it won't be deleted. This is more people who have signed up. Maybe they've signed up through another game, or they bought their game on PlayStation, and that requires you to make a Ubisoft account or something like that. I think it's more to do with those things. And it's kind of funny it's coming up now, because Ubisoft have not really released a good game in the last so many years. Whenever Valhalla came out last, I guess. So we're pretty much talking those people who haven't had any reason to play an Ubisoft game in the last 6 years or something. Anyway, account deletion process is in compliance with the requirements of the GDPR. So GDPR requirements basically around online accounts is that if you are holding onto data and that data has not been used in the last, I think 4 years is the GDPR, you are required to delete that data. So that is pretty much where they're coming from with this. You haven't used this account in the last however long it's been, so we have to delete it to be in compliance with GDPR. The only time that won't happen is if you actually have games associated with the account. In that case, there'll be, I guess there's more to it than that, or you are using the data, I guess. Maybe it's considered if the games are part of your library, you're using it. However, it is kind of important to point out because it does bring up a bugbear that digital games, or people who go in for digital games like myself, try to ignore, which is you don't own those games. Really. You own a license to access those games, is what you own, and that license is not indefinite. Buried in the terms and conditions and the terms of service and all that is that you have acquired a license to access this software. You have not actually acquired the software itself. It's buried in their legalese, but Ubisoft are well within their rights to delete those accounts and prevent you from accessing the things you think you've bought. Because you haven't bought them. You've bought a license to them. This is why games preservation is important. It's not usually a big deal because, well, it's not a big deal for Ubisoft because there's really very few of their games I would want to actually have around forever. It's like the original the Sands of Time Prince of Persia and Beyond Good and Evil 1. And that's kind of it. I don't really care. Maybe Assassin's Creed 1 or 2, possibly. But yeah, they own the license. PlayStation Plus, similarly, any game you've bought off the PlayStation Store, again, it's a license to access that game. It's not the game itself. That's why you can't take it off the store and play it somewhere else, and so on. GOG, I think, are the only ones who are like, yeah, you actually own the software, not a license to it. I think. I don't know. I'd have to reread their legal stuff. I'm pretty sure it's changed in the intervening years. Every digital game is like that. Yeah, pretty much banana. They're all like that, except for maybe GOG. Maybe. Possible. And itch.io as well. They actually have you download the software itself. Rather than a license to access it on proprietary software like consoles do. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, those are all proprietary software, proprietary hardware. There's no way to get them off. There's no way to legally get them off the console and so on, and make PC ports of them. This is why PC ports of all your games are very important. Getting games onto PC should be like, never mind people being like, oh no, it's an Xbox exclusive, it's a PlayStation exclusive, it's a Nintendo exclusive, whatever. No, that's not the problem. You want it to be on PC. Not because, you have a cool PC or whatever like that. It means the game will live longer. People can have access to it 20 years from now and what have you. That's why it's important to get it on PC. Anyway, that story was kind of blowing up and like Ubisoft was deleting accounts and people weren't able to access their games. Not true. You can still access your games. This is only for accounts that literally aren't being used and have no game data associated with them. But it is important to point out that Ubisoft can do that, though. They are legally allowed. It would be a huge fucking shitstorm for them to do it, but they are legally allowed to do it. Anyway, moving on. So some stuff coming out of the community. I don't know why this always ends up being mods, but not always. Anyway, so somebody decided that, you know what, Resident Evil 4 needs. Resident Evil 4 doesn't need to be made cooler in the remake. It needs to be made shitter, I guess, and only with but only PlayStation. What's only PlayStation? Oh, the Ubisoft thing? No, it's like if you have any games associated with it at all, it won't delete your account. This is only for accounts that are, you made the account maybe at some point to access some kind of Uplay thing, and you haven't used it in a while. It doesn't affect that many people, to be fair. Really, it just got blown out of proportion because people thought they were losing their games. That's all. But yeah, somebody decided, hey, why don't we remake Resident Evil 4 with the Doom engine and then make it a side-scrolling shooter thing? And somebody thought that was a good idea. And you know what? They're not wrong. I would play this. This would be fun. So this isn't currently playable. This is more of like a work in progress kind of thing. But it looks pretty cool. I'd play it. It's running off like this open source version of the Doom engine. Doom can do pretty much anything as it transpires. That's pretty cool. Hey, it's that dog, and you can rescue the dog and everything. Anyway, cool. That is, I'm not sure when that'll actually be available, but it's a pretty cool idea. Anyway, there's that, and then another mod, kind of. So somebody went ahead and thought, you know what? The PC port of Wipeout is shit. Like, it's so bad. Like, we really need to fix that. They thought, what's the best way to fix it? I know, let's just get the PlayStation version instead and rip that and just make it good for modern hardware on the PC. And that's what they did, because they thought, you know what, the Wipeout PC port is awful and nobody likes it, and it was really, really bad, and it's still really, really bad. So what they did instead was, this is running off the actual PlayStation 1 software itself, so ripped out of the code, or ripped out of the disk, and so on. And then there are a bunch of kind of upscaling done on it. Some other code from Wipeout 2, some stuff from some of the Wipeout handheld ports has been added in on top of it. There's like a lot of injected code to make this look as good as it does. I assure you, this is good looking. It is in actual 16:9. Dimensions, HD, 4K, all that. PlayStation 1 could not do any of that. So this is quite a boost. This fucking, yeah, like, this computer controlled fucking hovercraft is being an asshole. Get out of the way. But yeah, Wipeout, amazing game. And unfortunately, Studio Liverpool has been shut down and is obviously not going to be working on any new Wipeouts, which is a shame, because there are no real anti-grav, zero-grav racers anymore. Nintendo aren't doing anything with F-Zero. Sony aren't doing anything with Wipeout. Xbox don't have anything. You know, there's a niche that's missing there, which is unfortunate. Anyway, that is this mod pack. It's kind of a mod, I guess, but there's a whole lot more to it. But you would actually require the PS1 ISO. You would need to rip your own disc or acquire it somehow. Legally, I don't know how you go about doing that, but yeah, so acquire the Wipeout ROM somehow. I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's just ask inquiring minds. I'm sure you'll work it out. How hard could it be? How hard could it be to find it? Anyway, we'll leave Ratchet. Actually, no. Leave Arcadian Atlas through, because that's actually a new game, whereas Ratchet is not. Alright, leave that one to them. Anyway, that is the news for 24th to the 30th of July, 2023. So a lot of game previews from both Armored Core 6 and Lords of the Fallen. Yeah, those games are shaping up to look pretty good. Lords of the Fallen is getting... So if you ever played the original The Lords of the Fallen, It was not a particularly great game. Some worry that this one will also similarly not be particularly great, even though it looks pretty good. Now, it is from a different developer and so on. It's really just the IP that's been shifted to a different developer. So, you don't necessarily have to assume it's going to be the same as the original game. Armored Core looks great. It does, Banana. Yeah, Armored Core looks amazing. And I don't get all of these publications going, it's a Soulsy mech game, and you're like, it's not in any way Souls. Where are you getting the Souls bit? That's a mech shooter game. I don't understand where they're thinking it's Soulsy. Anyway, if the way they're thinking it's Soulsy is that it's a third-person action RPG, like there's so many of them. that's not all Souls is. Anyway, Ratchet & Clank is out on PC, Arcadian Atlas, also Final Fantasy Tactics, spiritual successor, homage, fromage type thing. Cosmic Sisterhood has a release date. It'll be out in the middle of August. Sea of Stars is coming to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass simultaneously. Pretty sure it's the very first game to do that. Life by You has been delayed for about 6 months. Other things happened. CD Projekt Red continue to fire people all around the place. I don't know how they still have a company left. Is it just gonna be like the CEO and his friends, and that's kind of it? And they're just gonna sit on the good old games money and just wait for that to come in? Yeah, we're not making games anymore. It's just like the 6 of us, and we're just gonna make however much money we can until good old games just finally falls apart. Who is Project Red again? CJ Project Red are Witcher and Cyberpunk, and they also own good old games. Those guys. They have financial backing by the Polish government as well, a little bit. Actually, they may not anymore. They did when they were a smaller company. They're actually quite a large company now and publicly traded, so they probably don't actually have that anymore. That might have only been when they were a private company. Anyway, yeah, so CG Projekt Red firing a bunch of people, Activision doing Activision things and tricking people into spending money. Try to act surprised. Put your surprised face on. Anyway, that's the news. But what is happening on the channel next week? So, get our roadmap up. So this is the roadmap for the second half of 2023. You can see some of the games that we mentioned there. So Rise of Rubicon is up there. Lords of the Fallen is there. Other things that we might have mentioned. It is hard to tell when Sea of Stars, that's the one I was looking for. It's hard to tell when the art styles are all so jarring. Anyway, green outline means the game has been featured on the channel. Yellow outline means it is currently being featured, and a gray outline is it's on its way. Just give it a second. You know, it's slow. It'll make its way there. It Takes Two, I meant to update because that is actually currently being featured. But yeah, like I said, I pretty much rolled out of bed and straight onto the PC, so cut me some slack. Anyway, so last week we played Warhammer 40,000 Bolt Gun, which is a boomer shooter, as the kids like to call it. So think of like the old Warhammer or the old Wolfenstein style games, first-person shooters done in a pixel art style. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really like the way they've done the art style. So the way they've done the art is that they actually make the minis and paint them and everything, and then rasterize them afterwards. Rasterizing means just making them a 2D image so that you can actually put them on a screen, and then just throwing a pixel filter on top of it effectively. But it does give this really oddly well textured and detailed sprite. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. Some small issues with it is that it is a bit samey. We're still, I don't think I actually even finished chapter 1. It's quite long. But I really liked it. Anyway, that's Bolt Gun, available now, as it says. That was part of my Foley Plays Games a Bit series, where we play newly released games for a bit. And we'll have to pick a new one, so hang on for a second while we figure out what the next one will be. Anyway, Next week, we'll be continuing a bunch of Let's Plays that we have been doing for a while now. So, continuing the Foley Fables series of the Sinking City. The Foley Fables series is where we play games that have a pretty good narrative focus and maybe not such a great gameplay focus, usually. So, the idea is I'm playing this for the story and not really much else. Sinking City is eldritch horror shenanigans. You play Charles Reed, who's gone to this island city of Oakmont because he's having strange dreams about the end of the world and tentacles, and it's definitely not just because he's watching too much hentai. Yeah, and you're slowly going insane, but you might also be the savior and or doom of mankind, kind of thing. We're coming to the end of that game, so yeah, drop by on Tuesday if you want to see more of that. OG Final Fantasy, we started that week before. This is part of my Fully Plays Final Fantasy series playthrough, where I sometimes do franchise playthroughs. So I had started the Resident Evil one for about a third of the way through the Resident Evil one, and now I've started the Final Fantasy one, where we're going to play all the Final Fantasy, okay, not all of them. I don't actually have enough years left in my life to play all of the Final Fantasies. We're gonna do the mainline entries, so the ones that are Final Fantasy and a number, except 11, because fuck that, we're not doing that. But we'll do the others. We just still like 24 games or something. So yeah. Anyway, we started Final Fantasy 1 about 2 weeks ago. Missed it last week, so we'll try to be getting back to that again. It is surprisingly difficult, and I don't know why I should be surprised because it's a game from 1987. Of course, the game is hard. I didn't understand what easy mode meant back then. Anyway. We'll be continuing that on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll be continuing Final Fantasy 16, which is getting increasingly more and more hype and is getting increasingly more and more Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, this is getting really fun now. We have, again, this is a pretty new game, so I don't want to give away too much, but there's been a time jump again. That's where we're at. Okay, moving on. Myself and Melwen started to play It Takes Two on Saturday. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really enjoyable, and I'm now actually seeing stuff in the trailer that we haven't even done yet. so it's clearly quite a lot left in that game. Oh wait, no, we did that one. We've done that. Okay, we haven't quite seen things that I haven't seen at all. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're playing through it on PlayStation together. Melwen has played a little bit of the game already. I don't think she's finished it. It's possible we've gotten to the point where I think we've gotten to the point where you've stopped, Melvin, if you're still watching. Yeah, so we'll be continuing that. Maybe continuing that on Saturday. I'm not sure. We have to see if Melvin is available. I'm always available because I'm a hermit. So it's really just to see if Melvin is. Okay, anyway, I think that was it. At the end of the queue. That is the end of the queue. Okay, so we have to pick the next Holy Fable. So currently on our list we have After Image is sitting on a +2, Oxenfree 2. At the supermarket. Okay, no worries. After Image is at a +2, Oxenfree 2 is at a +2, Hi-Fi Rush is at a +1, and After Us is at a +1. Stopped in the portal. Okay, so we are at that bit. They're all sitting at various pluses because they've been on the list for a week or at least 2 weeks, something like that. I have added a couple of games. I've added The Spirit and the Mouse that we had to look at last week. Crime O'Clock that we played as part of the Steam Next Fest. Viewfinder also that we played as part of the Steam Next Fest. And My Friendly Neighborhood, which is Resident Evil, but what if Muppets? So I kind of want that one to win because it sounds ridiculous. Anyway. So we have 8 on the list, which means 9 spins is fairest way to do this. So get your predictions in. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win the spin? Anybody can win. There isn't a clear front runner this time. Boltgun had like a +5 and was always gonna win last week. Anyway, right, here we go. Spin number 1. All right. Oxenfree 2 is sitting now on a +3. Spin 2. Alright, Spirit on the Mouse is on the board. +1. Okay, spin 3. Alright, After Us, I think, is on a +2 now. Okay. Spin 4. Alright, Viewfinder's on the board. Okay, spin 5. Hi-Fi Rush is sitting on a +2 now. Okay. Now, can I have a clear winner? Yes. Or Oxenfree 2, rather, is the front runner. Spin 6. Oh, okay. It's time with a Hi-Fi Rush. Okay. 7. Primal Clock is on the board. It's not going to win this week. It's on the board. Spin 8. I don't know. Maybe I spoke too soon. Primal Clock's sitting there now. And spin 9. After Image. Okay, I think we have a tie. We have a 3-way tie with After Image, Hi-Fi Rush, and Oxenfree 2. So, how do we handle this? We handle this by hiding the ones that don't have a +3. Okay. And then we'll do a best of 3 spins. Played Hi-Fi Rush for 10 minutes and delete. Okay. See how that goes then. Alright, best of 3. Okay, Oxenfree has 1. Oxenfree has 2, right? That's best of 3. Actually, no, that one didn't count because I didn't shuffle them. Go again. It's only sitting on 1. Alright, never mind. Oxenfree 2 is. I've heard it's good too, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, I've heard the same. But anyway. Alright, it's going to be Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals. Oxenfree is a side-scrolling narrative, choose-your-own-adventure type thing. It's set somewhat in the 80s, 90s end of things. Or at least the original was. I'm not sure about the sequel. As far as I can tell, the sequel doesn't have too much in common with the original. I could be wrong. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have a look at that on Friday. So, let's add that to the schedule. As the kids definitely don't call it. Okay, so Oxenfree 2. Do I actually have art for it? Oh, right. So that's the schedule for next week. I should say Tuesday. Tuesday, The Sinking City. Wednesday, Final Fantasy. Thursday, Final Fantasy 16. Friday, Oxenfree 2, The Lost Signals. And then Saturday, It Takes Two, if Melwin is around. If Melwin is not around, we'll double up on one of those 3. Probably The Sinking City, if we haven't finished it. Right, that's it from me for today. So you have your news, and now you have your channel update. Right, thanks for dropping by, Melwin and Taquita Banana. It's good to see you in the chat and have somebody to talk to. And anyone who's lurking in the background is also appreciated. If you want to catch up on any of those games before we get started or get continued, yeah, sure, whatever. Get continued into it next week. You can find all the VODs over on youtube.com/DoomTrain5. And if you want to hang out and just chat about video games, you can find us on Discord. Just do !Discord into the chat, or go by the Twitch about page and you'll find the Discord link there, and so on, or just DM me and I'll send you the link, and so on. Right. Have a good rest of your day. Melwin, I believe, is playing Scorn later this evening at 8 p.m. my time, which is in 7-ish, less than 7 hours. So if you want to drop by their channel and play and hang out, yeah, sure. Play along with Scorn as well, I guess, if you have it. But just hang out and chat, that'll work too. Right. Alright, have a good rest of your day, guys. I'm going to head off.